Okay, good evening. So, this is the second lesson na nakuha ko. Again, for the record, the PowerPoint used by Miss Aster is not mine. Kumuha lang talaga ako sa YouTube. Sorry. Kumuha lang ako sa Google para pang support doon sa inyong module to discuss some topics na meron sa ating module. So, for this lesson, Earth as a system. So, to fully understand our planet, we must learn how its individual components are interconnected. When we say individual components of the Earth, andun yung land, water, air, and life forms. So, these are components of the Earth which are interconnected. How can you say that these are interconnected? Give me a message in our chat box kung bakit interconnected yung mga individual components ng Earth na yun. And make sure your comments and reaction ay timely. Kasi alam po meron kayong pwedeng sabihin na in time kung bakit konektado yung mga sinabi kong component ng Earth. Now, proceeding to the lesson, I will wait for your answer. Proceeding to the lesson, Earth as a system is composed of numerous interacting parts or subsystem. So, the Earth system science attempts to integrate the knowledge from traditional sciences. When we say traditional sciences, it includes geology, atmospheric science, chemistry, biology, and so on. So, Earth is just a small part of the larger system known as the solar system. So, let's focus on the Earth as a system. When we say Earth, it is characterized by its blue water, rocky, brown, and green land masses with white clouds set against a black background. So, kung naman sa bilang ng planeta, pang ilan siya from the sun? Pang ilan siya? Okay, very good. It is the third planet from the sun and a few hundred kilometers larger than planet Venus in terms of diameter. Also, it is the fifth largest planet in the solar system and the only known planet that can support life. Obviously, kasi nandito tayo. So, we are the living testimony that the Earth can support life because of the presence of different factors like gases, oxygen, ano ba? Plants, meron tayong sources, and then, yung air natin is complete. Basically, yung presence of oxygen, yun yung isa sa mahalaga. And then, meron nang nabubuhay na mga halaman. In hayop at halaman. So, let's continue. So, Earth is made up of erratic complex interactive system. So, let's have this slide. Oh, so forward. Next. So, Earth as a system, yung kanina sinabi natin, interconnected yung bawat component ng Earth. So, land, water, air, and life forms. Isa sa pwede nating makitang interconnection of the different components of the Earth ay yung tinatawag nating water cycle. So, this diagram shows how the water cycle undergoes. So, saan tayo pwede mag-umpisa? Doon tayo mag-umpisa sa groundwater storage. So, from the groundwater storage, nagkakaroon ng evaporation. Kasi mainit. So, the movement of the water is to rise up and evaporate. So, from liquid to gas. And then, it will condense doon sa clouds. Pag mabigat na, after the condensation process, ano nang mangyayari? So, the water will be stored in the atmosphere. And the water storage can will precipitate in different forms. Pwedeng ice and snow. Pwedeng the snow melt, run off to streams. pwedeng rain. Sa atin, rain lang. And then, balik siya sa infiltration. Papasok ulit siya dun sa groundwater. Magiging ulit siya groundwater discharge. Pwedeng yung nag-precipitate, bumalik na siya into spring or pabalik na siya into fresh water. Ang iba naman, pupunta sa sea. And then the process will be repeated again. Ganun ulit. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Next. So, these are advances in technology have allowed scientists to study the Earth in a variety of different ways. So, mga ginagamit ng mga scientists to study the Earth sa mas malalim na paraan. So, submersible, seismometers, satellite. So, hindi tayo mag-focus dun sa mga tools na ginagamit ng scientists. We will focus on the Earth system. Pero daanan na rin natin. Satellites and spacecraft allow us to view, photograph, and map the Earth from space. Mahalaga yon kasi doon din natin kinukuha yung picture, 'di ba? Yung movement ng yung movement ng hangin. So pag merong mga bagyo, so yun. O kaya pag may pagbabago doon sa positioning, kung magkakaroon kunyari ng eclipse, o yun. Doon kinukuha yung mga information. Doon sa nakukuha ng satellites and spacecraft ng mga photograph in view. Next. Yan. Sample ng mga photograph and view from the satellite. Submersible and ships allows us also to view, photograph, and map the ocean floor naman sa ilalim. Mahalagang may record nun, may picture, kasi pinag-connect yun. Ginagamit syempre sa mga science books, and then pinag-connect siya para makita natin yung movement ng water, may kaugnayan ba siya sa nangyayari sa atmosphere, 'di ba? So let's have this one, so mga images. Punta tayo doon sa this one, powerful computer programs called GIS or Geographic Information System. It helps the scientists organize, layer, and interpret huge amounts of data in order to study how the Earth changes over time. Powerful ginagamit ng mga science. Punta tayo sa pinaka-lesson. Earth system. Science studies the flow of matter and energy in and out of the Earth's open system or sphere. Now, when we say Earth system, apat yon: atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere. Basically, on the first part, nung una, 3 major spheres lang. Water portion, and yung water portion yung hydrosphere. And then we have the gaseous envelope, which is the atmosphere, and the solid part, which is the geosphere. Pero focus dun tayo sa apat kasi yun talaga yung Earth system. Atmosphere, biosphere, geosphere, and hydrosphere. Next. Okay, dito tayo. Atmosphere. So, the atmosphere means vapor. The gaseous envelope surrounding Earth is called the atmosphere. It is composed of the mixture of gases. The atmosphere provides living things with oxygen and carbon dioxide. So, other gases absorb and alter rays from the sun, blocking potentially harmful radiation. Changing amounts of water vapor cause humidity and clouds. Varying amount of atmospheric pressure causes winds. The oxygen in our atmosphere makes our planet unique. So, nauna dyan yung atmosphere. It is a very shallow layer. And 1/2 lies below an altitude of 5 to 6 kilometers and 90% occurs within 16 kilometers of the Earth's surface. So, this thin blanket of air provides us with the air that we breathe. It also protects us from the sun's dangerous ultraviolet radiation. So, the energy exchanges that continually occur between the atmosphere and the Earth's surface and between the atmosphere and the space produce our weather and climate. So, ngayon may bagyo, di ba? Anong pangalan ng bagyo? Comment down below. Ano yung magkasunod na bagyo? Okay. So, yun ay isa sa effect ng movement ng no connection ng water and air movement. Next, yung weather and climate yun ha. Next po, hydrosphere. So, the hydrosphere is a dynamic mass of hydrosphere is a dynamic mass of water. Hydro means water, and the hydrosphere contains all the water in the Earth's system. So, the hydrosphere includes the water in the ocean, the lakes, the rivers, the groundwater, and water locked up in ice and snow at the poles and in high mountains. Only about 1/2 of 1% of all the water in the hydrosphere is usable fresh water. All the water on Earth is continuously recycled. Paulit-ulit. Nabanggit natin kanina sa kaunahan ng water cycle. So, yun. It is a dynamic mass of water that is continuously moving, evaporating from the ocean to the atmosphere, precipitating to the land, and returning to the ocean. So, 71% of Earth's surface ay blanketed by the hydrosphere. And doon sa 71% na yon, ang lalim nun ay about 3,800 meters. And it accounts for about 97% of Earth's water. Next. Doon tayo sa geosphere. Geo means earth, the rocks, the mountains, the beaches, and all other physical features of the earth, except water. It makes up the geosphere. It includes the ocean basin, the rock layers beneath your feet, including those you cannot see. These layers include the mantle, the source of the lava that pours from volcanoes, and the core that forms the planet's center and generates Earth's magnetic field. Mineral resources are mined from the geosphere. The geosphere is ever-changing slowly. So, ang haba ng binasa ni Ma'am, ibig sabihin nun, ang depth of the geosphere is 6,400 kilometers, being the largest, again, the largest of the 4 spheres. Most of the surface features give us a clue of the dynamic process occurring at the Earth's interior. Soil is the thin layer of material on the surface. Yung soil, it supports the growth of plants. It contains the solid portion, a mixture of weathered rocks and organic matter from decayed plants and animals. Air and water also occupy the open space between solid particles. Next. So, that is the geosphere. Next, we have the biosphere. It means life. All living things on Earth compose of the biosphere. The biosphere includes all the living things from single-celled protozoans to redwood trees to people. The interactions of the geosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere gave rise to the condition that supports life on our planet. So, that is how powerful the work of God in Earth, diba? So, there is always a connection between the work of God and science. So, in the Earth system, we have 4 Earth system that interacts for us to live on Earth, for the Earth to support life. And yung connection between hydrosphere, the atmosphere, the geosphere, and the biosphere is very important actually. So, Earth system science studies the flow of matter and energy in and out of the Earth's open system or spheres. Matter and energy move back and forth between the different Earth spheres, and the different spheres interact every day all around you. What spheres are interacting here? Dito. Hydrosphere and geosphere. Dito sa volcanic eruption. So, geosphere is land area. Ano pang nag-interact dyan? Atmosphere kasi going up yung mga natin, yung mga gaseous material from the inside of the geosphere. So, that is atmosphere. And also, it will affect hydrosphere kasi nagkakaroon din yun ng movement sa ilalim ng dagat. Tapos yung mga alikabok na yan, magpupunta yan sa dagat, and then, or pwede rin naman yung process na magiging acid rain. So, dudumi yung karagatan or yung source natin ng tubig. What about the effect of volcanic eruption in the biosphere? So, yun yung aking iiwanan sa inyo. Give me the answer in the chat box. Okay? What will be the effect of volcanic eruption in the biosphere? Nandun tayo sa tanong na, what spheres are interacting here? So, from the volcanic eruption, which is the geosphere, ang tinatanong ko na is the connection in the biosphere. Ano yung mangyayari? So, when we say biosphere, malawak naman yun. All life forms. Ano pwede maging effect nun sa atin? In this one, lahar, parang lahar, ganon. Ang style, natabunan yung mga bahay. Earthquake is another example of how the spheres interact with each other. Kaya ang dangerous pag meron tayong mga negative effect of the interaction. But more on positive pa rin. Tornadoes. So, this is the movement of the air and water. Pwede. So, nandun yung connection. Mining minerals. Geosphere and biosphere are interacting kasi tao yung nagmimina. Diba? Sinisira natin yung mga kabundukan because naghahanap tayo ng minerals. Oil exploration. Yun. Ilalim ng dagat. So, water, hydrosphere. Tapos, geosphere din kasi yung land area ng dagat yun sa seabed, diba? Tapos, yung biosphere kasi tayo naman yung gumalaw dyan sa dagat. Kaya, tayo din yung may gawa kung bakit may nangyayaring proseso ng interaction between the three spheres na binanggit ko, basically because of the oil exploration, yung pagkuha ng langis. Kaya, ito, volcanic eruption na to, nag-ano na yung lava sa labas. Naagos na yung lava. It will form, yung una nating diniscuss, igneous rock. When the magma moltens, it will form igneous rock. Kidlat. Ano nag-interact dyan? Next. Ayan. Ipo-ipo. Ano nag-interact dyan? Kumpletuhin nyo yung sagot and then samasamahin isang send sa chat box. This one. Plate movements. Ano nag-interact? Yun. Meron na sa ilalim na tubig. Ito. Pagbuo ng bagyo. Anong nag-interact? Very good. So, interactions among the Earth's spheres change the spheres to differing degrees. These impacts can be single events, temporary changes, or ongoing change. So, we will adapt. Hindi tayo pwedeng hindi natin pwedeng isisi dun sa nangyayaring mga interaction between the Earth system. Kasi mahalaga din naman yung interaction na yun. Hindi tayo mabubuhay kung wala yung interaction ng different Earth system. Pero we have to adapt. We are born to adjust to what is happening around us. Dahil tayo naman yung pinakamatalinong nilalang ng Diyos, diba? So, kaya nga natin pinag-aaralan din ang science aside from the fact that we believe doon sa religious concept ng pagkalalang natin dito sa mundo. So, next, single event, example, meteorite, impact that causes massive global extinction. Then, ongoing steady process, example ay erosion. Diretso na yung erosion na yun. Kasi kakaunti yung nag-hold or wala na talaga nag-hold ng mga laman. Cycles and the earth, ito naman, okay, malawak. Hanggang dito ko lang i-discuss siguro. Hanggang energy cycle maybe. Okay, let's go. Let's start. Go back. Kasi it's evening na din eh. Cycles and the earth. A cycle is a series of steps that repeats Some cycles ay water cycle, repeat over relatively short period of time, while others repeat over millions of years, such as tectonic cycle. So, on Earth, the water cycle, energy cycle, and carbon cycle, tectonic cycle, and the rock cycle work together to maintain a dynamic planet. Yung rock cycle, nauna na natin i-discuss. Yung water cycle, kanina. Yung carbon dioxide-oxygen cycle, syempre yun yung exchange of gases from plants and animals or from plants and humans. So, yung humans, we will release carbon dioxide, and then the plant will release oxygen. And then magpapalitan tayo because carbon dioxide is a raw material for photosynthesis of the plants, while we need oxygen for our health sa ating respiratory system because kasama siya ng blood, specifically the hemoglobin, to travel, to circulate around the body natin. At dalhin yung oxygen, iikot, kasama din siya sa process. Yung magkakakonect naman yun, kaya mapupunta na tayo sa loob ng katawan pag sinabi ko na ibang discussion yun. Pero, syempre, yun yung tungkol dun sa connection naman ng respiratory system, circulatory, and the digestive. Pag nagsama-sama na yung nutrients ng food, yung oxygen, ang nagde-deliver noon lahat ay red blood cell dahil nandun yung hemoglobin. Doon din kumakapit yung oxygen. Cloud diagram, each group will make a poster showing the 10 different cloud types. It should include a picture using color of the cloud, the height, the cloud's form, and the type of weather involved. Be neat and be creative. Hindi ko na ito ipapagawa kasi nga kinuha ko lang naman to sa computer. Ayan, binanggit ko na to kanina, carbon cycle, biogeochemical cycle, compound is changed and moved throughout the Earth's surface. When we say carbon, it is not just a solid, it forms gases such as yun yung sample na binigay ko, the carbon dioxide and the methane. Yung mga gas material na gaseous substance na nare-release ng mga sasakyan, ng pabrika, and yun. So, carbon is commonly called the building block of life. Ayan siya. This is the exact illustration. So, binanggit natin na kasama yung mga release from fossil fuel, cement production, ano pa ba? Saan pa ba? So, ikot-ikot lang yung dissolved organic carbon become sediments, aakit ulit sa taas, sasama dun sa evaporation process naman ng water cycle, pupunta sa atmosphere, down. Balik-balik lang, carbon cycle. Next, carbon into the atmosphere. Living things breathe it out. Carbon-based things, example like trees, burn. Diffuses out of oceans, and volcanoes erupt, number one source of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So, yun yung mga sources ng carbon into the atmosphere. Carbon from the atmosphere. Ocean dissolves 40% of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere from fossil fuels. Wave action also dissolves carbon dioxide into ocean. While the photosynthesis na binanggit ko kanina, it will... Wait. Tuloy ko na po. Photosynthesis ay the process of food making in plants. The raw materials used is carbon dioxide. So, plants breathe it in, yung carbon dioxide, and breathe out oxygen. So, in the ocean water, ang gumagawa naman is the phytoplankton. Meron pa ba? So, hindi ko na ito tatapusin dito. Kasi, 20 minutes na. Another video na lang for this one. Sisimulan ko yung next video ay dito, sa energy cycle. Okay? So, ito last, other ways carbon dioxide is shared. Carbon is stored in plants and passed on to another organism. So, we talk about food chain in that example. So, organisms die and decomposition puts carbon into the ground, creating fossil fuels. Oil and coal naman yon. Pero matagal na process yung oil and coal. Mas mabilis yung sa food chain. So, that is for the lesson 2. Earth system na nag-down na tayo into different cycle that happens in the earth system, like carbon dioxide oxygen cycle, the water cycle, and the other concepts that we discussed already. Thank you.